This week is all about fuel. We got to modify carburetors. We got to run fuel lines. We got to build a gas tank. So let's get busy. Before we get started on the fuel stuff, let me tell you about my wheel situation. Give you a little update. You know, last week I told y'all I had pretty much decided the wheels I was going to use. I just had to decide tire size and all that. And I needed, a different offset up here. Well, firstly, I decided to go with 18s instead of 17s. And I got to looking for wheels with this offset I needed up here. And, well, they don't have them. You have to do what is called a torque thrust 2 custom. They'll make you any offset that you want, but they're $500 a piece. I can't do that. So it's back to the drawing board on the wheels. Well, here's the thing. Any wheel that you look up pretty much is going to have pretty much the same offset. They may have a small offset, but I'm having a hard time finding something that's going to fit under this fender. I even decided, I was going to go with an 8-inch here. Well, I decided, well, let's just do a 7-inch. Well, I got me a little apparatus hanging over on the pole, I think. And it basically simulates a wheel. And even a 7-inch wheel won't fit under the fender. It'll have to have offset 2. I guess we could go 6s, but that's getting a little too skinny. I don't want skinny and bigs on this car. It's not a drag car. So what I'm trying to tell you is I ain't got a clue what wheels I'm gonna put on the thing. Sure don't. I'm gonna do a little more studying, and well, we'll just have to figure out. I'm not gonna be able to get the look I want right now anyway. I told you need big wheels and tires, and I want them tucked. By tucked, that means the tire is up under here. Like right here, it's even. That's not tucked. I don't really like that look. To get the tucked look, well, we're going to have to buy our wheels and then build the suspension around the wheels. That way we can get them, in and out however we want to. That's on down the road. Right now I'm just looking for some wheels to get it on the road and drive it. I'm having a hard time with that unless I, use something like that. Man, that's so ugly. I don't want to use that. Anyway, enough about the wheels. I'll figure something out. I ain't touched this old car in a couple of days. My secretary, she took off on vacation again. I don't know what I'm gonna do about her. I've had to do a bunch of running around town the last couple of days because she's on vacation. Let me show you this though. This is one of the things that we did right here. We got some tags for the old Forte. I'll get some insurance here in the next week or so. I'll get mine from Haggerty on these old cars. Dude, I mean, it's just so cheap for your liability. I'll get that here in the next week or so. Anyway, what we're doing this week, like I told you, is the fuel system. We're going to start with these carburetors right here. Let me explain what we're doing. We got a 3 Deuce Manifold. And that means 3 2-bubble carburetors. You run off of the middle one, and that's it. Until you get to, I don't know, 60, 70% throttle. And you got a progressive linkage that'll open the 2 end ones. They're basically like secondaries on a 4-barrel. Yes, sir. That's all they do is come on wide open. So that means you got to modify them a little bit. And, well, let me get one of them apart. And we'll talk about what I got to do to it. All right, I got one tore apart. Let me show you what we got to do. You only do this to the end ones, by the way, the secondary ones. Well, you can buy a kit that'll help you do this, but it's $400 something, and I can't pay that. You get 3 base plates with new butterfly shaft, butterfly, and the throttle thingamabob here. The reason they do that is, these are made for the linkage, is progressive linkage. Well, I can't pay that, so we're just going to modify them the backyard butchery way. That's the only way I know how to do it. What you got to do on these outside carburetors is there's your little power piston, power valve, whatever you want to call it. I can't get it out. Hang on just a minute. Well, I still can't get it out. Hang on. Get out of there. Here it is right here. That's your power piston. And this, it's a power enrichment. When you lose vacuum, you got a little rod right here that's held up, you know, because this sits like this. It's held up by vacuum. When you lose vacuum, it drops down. It pushes this little thing right here. That opens a valve and lets more fuel. It's basically like another main jet. You have to block them off. That's one of the things that comes in a kit. It's a plug. Well, all you got to do, as far as I can tell, cut this arm off. That way it'll never be able to hit this little pin and open that valve up. That problem is solved. Well, another thing you got to do is, you know, all these are regular carbs. Let me back up and tell you that. These are just regular old small base 2-jet Rochesters. The actual 3 Deuce Manifold carbs, well, you can't find them no more. They're scarce as hen's teeth, and it'd probably be $1,000, $2,000. Ain't no telling. So what you have to do is convert regular 2-barrel carbs to work. They have to be the small base too. Anyway, next thing you got to do is you don't want any kind of idle fuel either. And I think those base plates that you buy, they don't have any kind of idle passages. I don't think they have even a vacuum ports. Well, what I thought about doing was just running the idle screws all the way in, and that'll block the idle ports where no fuel can come in. We'll have to test that. If that don't work, well, I don't have a problem with taking a little bit of JB Weld or something and dabbing it in the holes. I mean, that should work. Other than that, you know, got to make your linkage. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I think since you're getting rid of the power valve, you probably have to jet up. That's just something we'll have to experiment with. There really ain't a whole lot to modifying the carb. Now the linkage, that'll probably take me all day to figure out how I'm gonna do it, because like I said, it's progressive, and I'll explain that when we get to that. But let me take all these apart. I gotta clean them. This needle valve right here, it's stuck. Let me take them all apart and clean them. And I need to find a rebuild kit, I guess, for a new needle valve and seat. Just go ahead and take care of that. Maybe some gaskets. Anyway, I'm gonna tear them apart, clean them, and I'll be back in a little bit. Well, I got my first issue. Yep. When I turned it over, opened it up, turned it over, that little check ball right there fell out. I didn't think nothing about it, you know, because your acceleratory device has a check ball. Well, then I remembered right here is where that check ball is supposed to go. And as you can see, that little piece is staked down. So that ball didn't come out of there. I'm not sure where it goes. I've never seen that come out of anywhere in here. So I'm gonna have to get on the interwebs or find a exploded view or something and see if that actually goes in here, or if it was just mistakenly put over here, or I don't know. I gotta figure out where that goes. Did a little research, and some carbs do take this little check ball down in the accelerator pump well. This one does not. If it did, I think there'd be like a hole outside here for it to take fluid in to the well. This does not have it. So it does not, that check ball does not go in there. Also, this, where did it go? Here it is. Remember I told you this was sticking in here, and I said vacuum holds it down. When you lose vacuum, it comes down and then hits this stem on the power valve. I was going to cut it. Well, I don't want to cut it because I don't think you can get these anymore. So I hate to ruin, you know, an obsolete part. So I kept fooling with it till I got it out. Well, I can't just leave that open hole because we'll have a vacuum leak, because it comes through here, out here, and then right there down to the base, and then the hole is right here, right there. So I think what I'm going to do with that is probably shove some RTMV either in this hole or possibly down in that one, let it dry, you know, and then hopefully it won't get sucked out. Also, you know, I think I told you anyway, I was just going to run these idle mixture screws in where couldn't no gasolines come out the holes here. Well, I forgot about transfer slots. Well, this one doesn't have slots. It's got 2 or 3 tiny holes. they're fed, it's, you know, transfer slot basically, I think anyway. It's fed from the same circuit that the idle mixture screws are, which would be this hole right here, this one right here. So I think what I'll do there is just, we'll fill that full of RT and V2. I don't want to destroy you know, a good carb. You never know. I may get tired of the 3 deuce and, you know, want to put these back to 2 bubble. Anyway, I don't like destroying things like this. So we're gonna do RT and V in the holes. Hopefully that'll work. Let me get these cleaned up. I think I'm gonna attempt to get these going without buying a rebuild kit. I do have cups for the acceleratory device, so I'll change them out, but I'm gonna try to rebuild these without kits. The main reason I would buy a kit is for the seat and needle. You know, they get wore and they won't seal. I'm gonna try it without it. If it don't work, well then I'll go buy some kits. Let me get these cleaned up real quick. Well, I got this one all cleaned up. I got my float level set. I got my cup on the acceleratory device, and I just want to show y'all the ports that I stopped up with RT and V. This one here, that's the vacuum port for this little feller here that, you know, pushes down on the power piston, power valve, whatever you want to call it. Then I blocked this one and this one. They're the ones that go down to the idle mixture screw and the transfer slots. Let me put this back together. I got 2 more to do. Well, I got one carb roster ready to go. Home pow, home pow. I forgot to show y'all a couple things though. On the 2 outside carbs, you want to remove the butterfly for the choke and the shaft. When you do that, well, it leaves a hole here and a hole over here for unfiltered air to come in. So I got to find me some plugs right here. Also, the jets, one of them is a 55 for sure. The other one looks like a 65. They shouldn't be different. I want to do a little reading and see that maybe somebody recommends jet size, seeing how we've done away with the power valve. I'll do a little research on that. Anyway, I got 2 more to do. Well, I got all the carburetor devices as clean as I can anyway. I got to get them bolted down with a couple of bolts. Then I get to start the very, very fun task of trying to get throttle linkage made. And that's not going to be fun. It's probably going to take me the rest of the night. Got them all temporarily mounted. And well, let me try to explain what we got to do. Remember me telling you it's a progressive linkage. What that means is this middle one, you know, it's running off it all the time. Well, it's going to open 50–60% before the outside ones ever do. Then once they do start cracking open, you know, this is at say 60%, this one starts opening. Well, it's got to speed up to get wide open when this one's wide open, because, you know, they're opening so late. And well, you're going to have a linkage. Well, my regular throttle from the pedal is going to be right here. Then I bought these little fellers here. That's threaded. And I'm going to put it here. There's going to be a rod from this one over to this one here. And it'll slip right here. Just say this and here open 50%. And then it'll catch and start opening this one. Well, there'll be a rod from here to the front one, and it'll make this one open at the same time and rate that this one opens at. But if you notice, there's something missing down here on the bottom. So I'm going to cut this one off right here, weld it over here, and hopefully I can make all this work. The progressive stuff, trying to get this, it basically is going to have to open quicker once it starts than this one. That's the geometry stuff. Remember the radius, arc, all that kind of stuff we talked about on the suspension? Well, it's the same thing here. So let me get this cut off, get it tacked on over here. Then that's when my brain's going to start hurting, because I got to try to figure all this out. I can't really video thinking, so it may be tomorrow when I see y'all again, when I get this all sorted out. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off and get it transferred over here, get it tacked on there. That way I can start measuring and figuring and thinking and hurting my brain. Let me get this done. It's hot on my finger. Woo, it's hot. Son of a biscuit, that's hot. Woo! I think I'm gonna hold it with these needle nose this time. That burnt the devil out of my finger. All right, now it's time to do some thinking. By George, I think I've got it. I've been fooling with this for probably an hour or more. Been using this rod. I've got it marked in several places. And I figured out, where half throttle is on this middle one. It's about right there. Well, I'll put my mark here and then try to use this hole, or maybe I can drill one here, maybe I can drill one here. It ain't working out no matter what I do. So what I'm going to do is weld or bolt a piece here to extend it up pretty far, maybe a couple of inches. We cut it off later, and slot a hole here, and this will go in that slotted hole. It'll have to be threaded. Anyway, that'll go in the slotted hole. I can move this up and down until I get this opening when I want to, and then make sure they are wide open all together. I'm going to try that anyway, but not tonight because it's late, and well, this is 1/4 inch rod. This is 3/16 inside there. I don't know why I did that, but I did. Lowe's has got 3/16 rod. I'd rather have these ones that'll fit 1/4 inch rod. Let me go in the house and see what I can find. Hopefully Lowe's has got what I need. And maybe, this may not be as hard as I thought. Maybe we'll get this figured out early tomorrow, then we can move on to other things. 'Tis the next day. I am not prepared to wrestle this mentally, but we got to get it done. I've already been to Lowe's, got my 3/16 rod. I had to get me a tap and die set for 1032 because I didn't have a die. No, sir. They got me some 1032 lock nuts too. Got to have them. Went to Mama's last night looking for these air filter covers. Well, I can only find 2. I know we've got all 3 of them. I have tore the basement apart. Cannot find it. Also found that fuel log. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that or not, but if I want it, there it is. Let's get over here. Remember how I told you I was going to make me a piece to come up here a couple inches, and I was going to slot it. Well, I'm just going to drill a bunch of holes instead. That way I can play with the radius here, get it to match the radius I need to make this open up wide open and when I want to. So let's get over here. I got me a piece of, I don't know, what is this, 1/8 inch, 3/16 maybe. I'm going to cut me a piece inch wide, I don't know, 3 inches long. Drill some holes in it and we'll go to experimenting. 1 inch wide is what I'm going to go with. What'd I say, 3 inches long? I don't know why I'm using this square today, but I am approximately right there. Y'all see that moth come out of there when I turn the grinder on? Get out of here. Go. Go, you dummy, before you get killed. I got a mark for some holes so I can bolt it to this piece here. I think we'll do her probably about right there. Yes, I finally remembered to bring this vise from Mama's. I've been meaning to for I don't know how long. I finally remembered it. I just got done marking 5 holes. That's going to be my adjustments that I play with to get everything set. Once I get it where I want it, we'll just cut her off so it won't be so long. Oops. All right, let's bolt it on, and then we'll go to experimentating, see if we can get this figured out like I want it. Well, I dropped my bolt. Where did my bolt go? I found it! I found it! Now, what I got to do is we're going to start, I don't know, we'll start at the bottom, I guess. I may have to put this on the inside. I believe I will, to get it to line up with this one. And, well, let me get another one. I'll be right back. I'll put one right here. I'll have a rod running to each one. And, well, I got to drill this one out. Let me go ahead and do that now. I'll explain why here in a minute. All right, I got that drilled out for 3/16. The reason why I did that, that 3/16 rod has to slide through this. I'll explain it in a minute. Let me get me a piece of rod cut here. We'll go 8 inches for now. Now I got to thread this rod on either end, I don't know, inch or so. Let me get my newly bought die set out of here. Of course, it's like Fort Knox. I'm gonna have to cut it open. 3 years later, I got that package open, and this is probably the smallest die that I have ever used in my entire life. Yep, sure is. This is 1032, by the way. All right, that'll probably do right there. I gotta do the other end real quick. Got the rod threaded. So now let me screw one end into this one right here. Then remember the one that we drilled out? That's it right there. It'll slip in like that. We get that one in there, we get that one in there. So the reason this one has to slip is because, you know, this one has to open up 50 to 60 percentile before the end ones do. It needs to slip. Then, I'm gonna have to thread it a little more, I see that probably. Then you'll have a nut here that'll catch this one and make it come on and open it up. And that is how you do this linkage. It's just a whole lot of little intricate things that we got to figure out. But the reason, you know, I made this is because of the radius arc of a circle. That's, you know, it's math and geometry. I don't like it. Anyway, this is about 50% throttle, I think. So I'm gonna pretend that this has got a nut on it. Let's see what happens. All right, that is opened up wide open. What about this one? No, sir. We're gonna have to do something a little different. Let's go up a hole, see what happens. All right, that's about 50% throttle. Then I'll grab this like I'm a nut. Well, I'm a nut, but you know what I mean. No, sir. Well, that made it worse. I'm confused as to why it would do that. Let me play with this a little bit. See if I can't figure out exactly where it needs to be. Well, I think I got it figured out. Right here is approximately half throttle on this middle carburetor. And then y'all watch that right there. That slides until it hits that nut. Then I step on the pedal a little more. See that front one opening up? Now watch this. It's all the way open. This one's all the way open. That is awesome. So I got to make a rod from here to the back one and make them two outside ones operate at the same rate. and then we'll have the linkage figured out. Oh yeah. It's almost time to go home pow, home pow. Oh yeah. Let me get that bottom rod made. Y'all watch this right here. Hum pow, hum pow. Watch that back one right there. It's opening up. Watch this front one right here. It's opening up. My only issue is, well, I got two issues. It's wanting to hit that bolt head right there, right there. So I'm gonna find, that's a 1/4 bolt. I'm gonna find a flathead bolt, countersink that, because it probably won't ever happen, but it's possible that gets hung on that bolt head and holds this thing wide open, and there I'll be. I don't want that happening. Also, the throttle blade, see how it's doing? It's won't stick. So I gotta take this back off and do a little work on that butterfly and keep it from hanging up. I'm gonna have a return spring probably on every carburetor because, well, I want one here because, you know, it works independent. And you gotta have one for the front and back. Well, I got one here, but see how that moves just a little bit? Well, if it hangs open that much, it's gonna make it idle up high. That's really annoying. So I'm gonna have 3 separate return springs on each carburetor. That's got that pretty much. It ain't pretty, by no means, but most everything we do around here ain't very pretty. It's called backyard butchery, but it's good enough for what we do. It'll work just fine and dandly. I might have to call my contractor out here. Oh, we got a roof leak. And it's odd, it don't leak in the same spot. It might leak here for a little while, and it might leak here. And you see that spot in the floor? It was leaking there this morning. It's quit and moved over here. I don't know if it's leaking up there and running down the, whatever that's called, the truss, or if I got several different leaks. Sometimes it'll leak over here, to drip on that box, or right here in the floor. This spring, I'll have to get up there to see what's going on, because we've either got some screws backed out or missed holes or something. I got to fix that. I'm glad to get that linkage done. That had been bothering me for a while. It was pretty simple once I, you know, used my brain and did a little bit of thinking. We ain't done. I got to pull them off, put the gaskets underneath. We got to fix this back one here sticking. Got to run fuel lines and all that. That's minor stuff. I'm glad to get that done though. The next phase of the fuel system is going to be a gas tank. Yes, sir, you heard me right. We are building a gas tank, and here's why. I can buy one, you know, for a business coupe. $350. You add shipping and tax on top of that, it'll be over $400, and I'm not doing it. That's ridiculous. We're going to build one out of this sheet of metal here. This is 16 gauge. I'm just going to cut each piece. It'll be 6 pieces plus probably 2 baffles. And I wish I could bend it instead of cutting it up in 6 pieces, but I ain't got no, that's 16 gauge. I ain't got no way to bend it. I wish I had a box and pan brake about 6 foot wide, but I can't justify buying it because I don't do enough of this type of fabrication. So we'll just cut it up. Be a whole lot of welding, but who cares? Let me get this on my new table. That's why I built this weld table, so we could get this big thing on it. Let me get it up there and get it marked, and I'm gonna cut it with the plasma cutter. We'll go to welding it together. I'm gonna build it to the same dimensions as the factory tank. That's 42 long, 21.5 wide, and 6 deep. Well, some say 5 3/4 and some say 6 1/4. So we're just gonna go 6 deep, and I'm gonna have a couple of baffles in the middle. So let me get this marked off, then we'll go to cutting. Got everything cut, ground down, got all the razor blades ground off of it. Here's a baffle right here. It's gonna go just like that. I just cut the corners off. That's all that matters. I'm doing this more for support of the top of the tank than anything. But I did forget to allow for, this is going inside, so I should have allowed for thickness of metal here and here. So we'll have to chop just a wee bit off of both of them. But what I'm gonna do is both ends, or sides, I guess. Then we'll do the baffles. Then we'll put the top on, that way I can weld the baffles to the top. Then we'll put the ends on. Let me get to tacking. This is gonna be a whole lot of welding right here. It sure is. All right, that's gonna get on my nerves right there now. Well, we got it tacked together anyway. It's not pretty. I knew it wouldn't be. It's just a metal box, but it'll be hidden once we get it in the car. It'll be a wooden platform over it eventually. Still gotta cut a hole for the fill neck and the sending unit and the outlet. And yes, that big B, I put that on there to remind me this is the bottom, so I don't put the holes in the wrong side. Because I guarantee you, if I didn't mark that, I would do it. Yep. This is gonna take a lot of time to weld this up. It's probably gonna warp pretty bad. So I'm gonna go in the house, take me a little break, eat me a sandwich. And if I can get this welded up tonight, I'll be happy. I ain't gonna bore y'all with a bunch of welding. I'll probably see y'all tomorrow. Well, that didn't take nowhere near as long as I thought it would. Maybe 45 minutes. We need to leak test it now. And I need me a bung, 1/4 inch pipe thread bung to weld right here. I ain't got one. I went to Lowe's earlier today hoping to get a steel 1/4 inch pipe coupling. Well, they're all their 1/4 inch stuff is brass. I've looked everywhere over here. Can't find one. So I think we're gonna go to Mama's. And we're going to stick us a piece of metal in the lathe, bore it out, and tap it for a 1/4 inch pipe thread. Let's go do that. All right, I found this piece of scrap down here in the tray of the lathe. I don't have to do anything to the OD. We just got to drill her out to 7/16 and then run a pipe tap in it. All right, let me part it off. Then we'll run a tap in it. My most favorite thing to do is use this parting tool. Not. Now let's run our tap down in it. Make us some pipe threads. Well, she's going cockeyed on me. That's probably good enough right there. Got to drill a hole and weld this bung right here. Be still now. As soon as I put this fitting in here, we're gonna hook air to it, put, I don't know, 10 or 15 PS of eyes to it. Hopefully it don't balloon the sides out. Then we'll take a bottle of soap over here and spray all my welds and see how many leaks I got. Write in the comment section how many leaks you think I'm gonna have. My guess is about 50. Yeah, I ain't got that much confidence in my welding. All right, here we go. I hear a big leak. Crap, holy. Holy crap, it scared me half to death. Woo! I thought it had a big leak, but it was just filling up. And this popped over here, goodness gracious. I gotta go change my pants. I'll be back in a minute. Woo. Well, now that I know to be expecting a really loud pop, let's try this again. I'm gonna let it fill up. I hear air. It sounds like it's got a leak. I don't know if it's just filling up or if it actually... Oh, crap. Golly. What in the world? Let me just go ahead and check for leaks. My goodness. I can't handle much of that. Whew. I got one right there so far. Let me mark it. Got a small one right here too. Small one right there. Small one right there. Small one right here. Whew. This whole side here ain't good at all. No, sir. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The entire quarter. Ain't no count. When I welded it up, it didn't look right. I thought, well, maybe it's just my eyes, but well, I know better now. I'll just have to re-weld that whole thing. Let me get these holes fixed and then we'll flip it over and check the other side. All right, let's check her out again. Listen for it to pop. Well, I got a leak right there already. Well, that's good. That one's still leaking. I think we got that one. Got that one. I believe we got that whole side. That's good. Oh yeah. I had the one right here I saw bubbling. Right there. Where is it at? Well, I think I got them. Yes, sir. There was a total of 10. I had one over yonder. You see it steaming. I had to do it 3 times. It was a little bit stubborn. Let me flip it over. We'll check the other side. 13 leaks total. That ain't too bad. That's a whole lot of welding. It sure is. Next, what we got to do is cut us a hole in the middle for our sending unit. We ain't doing it tonight, though. No, sir. I'm tired. It's late. I just want to show y'all what I got. Here's my sending unit. Here's my filler neck with a cap. It's an oddball size. It's a little bigger than 2 1/4. What I'm going to try to do, well, you can see here in the car, it's going to be, I don't know, somewhere in that area. I would like to have a 45 and then put, you know, something in here, and then from here to the filler neck, just have a rubber hose. I got to study on that. Probably won't get this installed this week because I don't even have any tank straps, and I'm not real sure where it goes. I've been looking online last day or two, and they don't show the tank. They show the platform, and the platform looks like it comes way out here. I do know, according to a shop manual I found on a 39, that it sits on wood in this area, and it's got tank straps going this way. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it's supposed to be. I know how I'm gonna do it. I don't want it this far forward, so I'm probably gonna sit it right in this area here, back to about right there. Yeah, we'll get it in there some kind of way. Anyway, this is Saturday. Tomorrow's Sunday. Sunday's a day of rest. That's what I plan on doing. See y'all Monday. Tis the next day again. I put the gas tank in the car. I ain't sure I'm happy with it. Here it is, not in the stock location. Let me scoop this seat up a little bit. That's as far as it'll go. This is scooted back on top of that little platform there I talked about. Well, here's the issue with putting it here. Here's level. I'll put y'all down here level with it. And a filler neck, well, you can't even see it. It's below the tank. So that's not gonna work. Well, let me move it to the stock location down here, and let me show you what I got. Here it is in the stock location as far as the floor goes. No, it's not back there on that humped up place anymore. And my seat is pushed all the way forward. You can see I ain't got a whole lot of room. I don't like that at all. That ain't gonna work. And I don't understand that because it's built to the dimensions of the stock tank. Now I do know the stock tank is 2 halves seam welded together. And that seam, I figure it's probably 1 inch wide. So those measurements that I got off the interweb, that's probably the overall. Well, if you take 2 inches off here, it's still ain't gonna give you much room. So I'm thinking about cutting approximately 4 to 6 inches off of this tank. Well, let me tell you this. I did the math. This tank holds, I think, 23.5 gallons. The stock tank was 18. Well, if I cut, I think it was 4 inches off, it'll still be 19.5 gallons. I may cut 6 off and it'd give us, I don't know, I had to do the math. It'd probably be 17, 18 gallons, somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm gonna do. And well, like I said, I can't put it up there because when I do, there's the hole for the filler neck. And it's, part of it is below the gas tank. I don't want that. So yeah, that's the plan with that. It ain't gonna happen this week. So what we're gonna do instead, we're gonna make her run. Yep, she's gonna fire up tonight sometime. I just got back from Ireland. I got us a set of gauges. And I think I may have found a hose that'll work. So I got a lot of work to do if we're gonna make it run tonight. We gotta hook these up. Gotta put the radiator back in. It's just sitting in there. I gotta put the bolts in, fill it up with antifreeze. I gotta run some fuel lines. Distributor. You cannot run HEI distributor with 3 deuces. It hits that back carburetor. So you have to run the regular old points distributor. Well, you can run electronical stuff, it ain't doing it. So here's the distributor out of the 283 that was in here when we started. You know, we pulled it out and it's all rusted and locked up. This is this distributor we're going to use. It looks all right. The inside of the cap looks brand new other than those spider webs. I'm going to clean it up. I think the points will be all right. Lube it up a little bit because it's a little bit sticky turning. That's what we're going to use. I got to make plug wires. Of course, I'll have to rig me up a gravity-fed fuel tank. I think we can make it fire up sometime tonight, though. Before we do all that, though, let me show you this. It's always something around here. I done told y'all. Here's a compressor that I had in the Fiery Dragon. Remember, when I did the videos, I was using that compressor. It was in the garage. Well, I moved that compressor out here, and I don't want to run the hoses, and I don't want to have to drill a hole in my wall. So I had this one. I said, well, let's just use it. It's been running for, I don't know, 3 months or so. Well, last night, I just happened to step out the front door and heard the awfulest racket I've ever heard in my life coming from the Fiery Dragon. I don't know if y'all can see that, all that shiny dust. Well, she let go. I want to take this cover off and just see how bad it is. So let me do that real quick. Then we'll get over and make that thing run. I apologize for the rain noise on the roof, but ain't a whole lot I can do about that. Makes good sleeping weather. You might be wondering what this apparatus is. Well, when I first hooked this up, it ran a couple of days, and then I went out there one night and it just quit. It was on 0 pressure. Of course, the Fiery Dragon had kicked out. Well, the pressure regulator inside here decided it wasn't going to work. It's actually a pressure switch is all it is. So I did away with that and put this pressure switch here on it. So I got to get it out of the way. Now, I don't know how I did this. This won't even come loose. What's got me? Well, I don't know. Oh, I got a couple more screws right here I missed. All right, get this little fella off of here. Oh yeah, I see now. Let me get this cover and pressure regulator out of the way, and I'll show y'all. Well, I think I know what the problem is. Well, one is just a cheap pile of junk. The crankshaft, crank pin, flywheel, rod, and piston, they're all aluminum. The crank pin broke off of the flywheel right here. And she just beat herself to death. It even broke the motor mounts. See that right there? I bet you money it's made in China. Let me see. Yeah, sure, there it is right there. Y'all probably can't read it, but made in China. Cheap Chinese junk. I got to find me something else to put in the Fire Dragon now. Anyway, let's get over here and make this car run. Let's work on the distributory device first. Let me get this rotor off so I can see things a little bit better. I think we'll spray it with carb cleaner. Just clean it up in general. Might sand the points a little bit. Then the shaft turns a little bit rough. I'm gonna try to get some lube down in there. The weights are not stuck, so that's good. Yep, I'll lube all this up too. Let me spray her out real quick. Watch your eyes. That rotor's been rubbing. See all that right there? Well, that ain't no good. I don't know what the devil it was rubbing. We'll have to investigate that. I'm gonna put a little bit of Vaseline right here. Let me do that real quick. Just help that cam action just a little bit. Maybe we'll wear the points out so quick. I'm gonna flip it over. I'd like to get some lube in there. We need to clean that gear off because it's a wee bit rusty. All right, that looks mucho bettero right there. We'll clean that out a little bit in there. I'm assuming that's an oil hole and it is stopped up. So, see if I can't get it cleaned out. Oh yeah, it's gummed up pretty bad, actually. All right, let me blow that out and then I'll put some Earl down in that. Now, if I can find my little vacuum pump, I'm gonna hook it right here. Let's see if that vacuum canister is okay or if it's busted. I got my little handheld vacuum pump right here. And I think our diaphragm is busted because it won't pull any kind of vacuum. So, I'll get a new one of them. We don't need that for it to run. That's just, you know, cruising mile per gallon. We ain't worried about that. Let me clean the points, sand them a little bit, and I got to clean this cap up, and then we'll move on to something else. I decided to get my metry out and check continuity through these points. It was reading continuity, but it was a really high ohm reading, so I sanded them, cleaned them real good, and it seems to be doing all right now. We're getting pretty much a 0 ohm reading. That's what you want. Now let me clean that cap up. Well, the cap has a big old long crack in it. It starts right there, goes all the way to there. So I don't want to use it. Let me run to Mama's. I may have one in the basement somewhere. If not, I'll have to get on the interwebs and see if I can't find one. Just got back from Mama's. I found a whole distributor with a cap. I found another distributor. And I found a coil. Oh yeah. Let me get this cap off, clean it up. And I'll put this other stuff on the shelf over there. Distributor is ready. That's about as clean as I can get that cap. I'm going to get a different cap. They make one, you know, these are female. That's the way the point type caps are. And then your HEIs are male. And they make a cap that'll fit this that has the male terminals like the HEIs do. I'm going to find one online and buy it. Get it coming here. Because I like to have that because Well, you know, I normally use these red spark plug wires. You get them on Amazon. They're pretty cheap, but they seem to be pretty good wires. I like using them, but in order to use them on this, well, I'll have to cut the ends off, put different ends on. I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I'm going to order a cap for that that's got the male HEI ends on it. Right now, we're going to make us some copper core wire because that's what I got right here. Let me get them made and I'll be back. There ain't nothing to show there. Got my plug wires made, as you can see. Well, I come over here. I'm going to try to find top dead center on number 1 cylinder so I can drop the distributor in. Well, as you can see, I got my ratchet out, put it on the crank. It won't turn over. Nope, locked up tighter than I don't know what. Well, I grabbed a fan, pushed down on the belt. Still won't turn. No, sir. I decided, well, let's see if it'll go the other way. It will. It'll rock back and forth maybe an inch or so, and that's it. There's some knocking going on back here, I'm assuming in the bell housing. So, we get to jack it up, pull the transmission and bell housing and see what's going on. I think what I'll do first is, let's just pull the inspection cover. Maybe I can see something that way. But this should show you that MLS, it's real. It visits me every single day. Well, I got the inspection cover off and I don't see anything it's hitting. I got it back up here. I got to thinking, well, let's rock it back and forth a bunch and make sure it's going to make a mark on whatever it's hitting. And then we'll pull the transmission and bell housing off and see what's going on. Well, I got a little violent with it. And for whatever reason, it broke loose. I can turn it over just pretty as you please now. I ain't got a clue other than maybe the transmission might have been stuck in between 2 gears, but I went back to the tail shaft. You know, I got a yoke sticking in there and it spun over just fine and dandy. So I don't have a clue. Sure don't. Another one of life's mysteries. Let me put the inspections cover back on the starter, let it back down, and we will proceed. We'll see if we can get this thing running. Now that we got that took care of, whatever it was, let's see if we can find top dead center on number 1. All right, there's compression. Let me watch my mark. I don't have a timing tab, so we just gotta sort of guess where it goes. As long as we're in the vicinity, right now is all we need. And that's it right there. Let me get the distributor put in. I had to go look at my bucket of gaskets to find this gasket right here. It's just a bucket full of random gaskets. I'm sure everybody's got one. Let's see if we can get this in here. Well, I guess I probably should get the right distributor. What in the devil am I doing? Let me go get the right distributor. I'll be right back. All right, let's get this little feller down in here. Get him timed. There it is. We are approximately 180 out, so let me walk it around. That one is pointing. We're gonna leave it right there because I always go one too many. Then I don't have enough room for my advancement. We're gonna leave it right there. Let me put the cap on it. That little window to do your adjustment on your points, it's hitting that back carburetor. Yeah, this ain't real good. No, sir. All right, let me get this hold down, tighten down a little bit. Now I got to put plugs in, then we'll get the plug wires on. We'll pull these here carburetor devices and put the gaskets under them, put them back on. I don't know what else we got to do. Well, the hold down for the distributor, it don't do much holding down. I don't know what's wrong with it, but there's nothing holding it down right now. So I'll have to rig something up for that. I'm trying to get the plugs in right now. Then we'll get the plug wires on. I got to run fuel lines. I got to do the cooling system. I got to run gauges. I don't know. Maybe we'll get it running tonight. We'll see. Spark plugs are in. And let me tell you, this one here and this one here, front and back, very aggravating to get a socket on. Actually, you had to put the socket on and then it catches about like that. Yep. Let's get some spark plug wires on. I'm taking the cap back off, the one that I just put on. I gotta make sure where that rotor's pointed, which terminal is pointed at. Let us see. That distributor is keeping me from, yeah, this ain't gonna work. I have very little adjustment because this little window here is hidden. So, yeah, I don't know that this is gonna work. I'm gonna have to have a distributor without that window. Or I guess we can grind that off for now till I can get another cap. Let me see if I can do that. This here's the issue. This little metal door slides up. Lets you get you Allen wrench or screwdriver, whatever it is, in there to adjust the points. Well, this square part's hitting the back of that back carburetor. So I'm just gonna cut this off for now, and I'm gonna get one of those caps I talked about with the male terminals. Yep, let me get that cut off. I'm gonna see if I can just cut it off with these cutters. Well, that there just broke off. All right, let me stick that back on there and see if it hits. Cap is gonna work. It still hits, but I got a lot more adjustment now. I think we'll be all right. Let me get some plug wires run on this right here. These are temporary, by the way. But I'm gonna get that cap like I talked about. Ooh. Get on there, get on. There we go. There's one. All right, let me tie these up so that they don't get burnt on the exhaust. And then we'll pull them carburetors off. This is the rear carburetor device. Remember, it was hanging up. The butterflies were catching. Well, it's still doing it. Watch this. Yep, they're sticking pretty bad. I'm gonna get some sandpaper or something. Try to clean this area up and keep it from doing that, because that's going to get aggravating. Once I get that done, we'll put them back on the car. I got this cleaned up. It ain't hanging up as bad as it was. It still is a little bit. I think it'll be all right. We're gonna put them back on and move on to the next thing. Carburetor devices are back on. Got the linkage on too. Let's get the cooling system took care of. I'm hoping that hose I got today is going to work. Just in case this does fit, it is a Gates 22896. Get on there. Yes, sir, that is going to work. So let me get my hose clamps real quick. I'm going to have to look that number up and see what all that fits, just out of curiosity. All right, tell y'all what. Leaning over his car with my knees locked, you can imagine what they feel like right now. So I'm going to take a little break. Might eat me a sandwich. When I get back, we'll finish this up. I reckon before we fill it up with antifreeze, we need to put the temp gauge in. These heads don't have a hole for it, so we'll have to put it right there. I'll go ahead and do the oil pressure gauge while I'm at it, and we'll get the gauges mounted to the dash inside. Oh yeah, no. That ain't coming loose no time soon. I don't want to put it there because that's heater hose area. I don't know that that'll come loose. Let me see if it will. Oh yeah, that there ain't moving either. No sir. I don't know what we're gonna do right here. Well, that ain't worth a crap a tootie, I'll tell you that right now. No, it ain't coming loose. Let me get the torch out. Fingers crossed that we don't burn the car down or burn up our intake gasket. Or carburetor gaskets like I'm doing there now. I don't think this is going to work. No, sir. Did we do any good? No, sir. Oh, man, that hurts. No. We ain't done nothing but probably burn up gaskets. Well, I don't know what we're going to do here. Sure don't. Well, I managed to get this one out. I had the heater up pretty hot. I've probably burned up every gasket on the intake and valve covered. There ain't no telling what else. I got that one out. This one, as you can see, I have pretty much mangled it with a hammer and a punch. It won't budge. I mean, it will not budge at all. The only thing I know to do is start drilling it out until I get it real thin and maybe, you know, and cave it in on itself. And if that don't work, we'll just keep drilling it out and I'll have to go to 3/4 pipe thread. Well, it's a 1/2 inch, and I got to go a lot bigger. Let me vacuum the shavings up. I'm gonna whoop on it with a punch a little bit, see what happens. Let me see if I got a bigger drill bit here. I managed to get it out. I drilled it out with a 3/4 inch drill bit, messed the threads up. There's just a little bit of threads left at the bottom. I'm hoping it's going to be good enough to seal. This bushing is what goes in there. And then your sensor for your temperature gauge goes in there. I got to find a 1/2 inch plug for this. But if this does leak, well, we'll just drill it out for a 3/4 pipe thread. I was hoping to hear this thing run tonight, but it ain't happening. It's getting late. My back and knees are hurting from leaning over this car. I'm gonna fool with it for just a few more minutes and I'm gonna go in the house. If it don't run tomorrow, well, it ain't gonna run on this video because the next day is Wednesday. And that's when the videos will be out. See y'all tomorrow. We are back at it again today, trying to get this old bucket of bolts to run. I reckon we will proceed to continue with that. About all I did last night after I shut the camera off was find 3 fittings for the carburetor devices, and then I got that little fuel log out and found fittings for it. I'm just going to use it temporarily. I would like to eventually make some pretty hard lines sometime. Not right now, because we just want it to run. The fuel pump, I was going to use a gravity-fed tank. But I decided, well, let's hook it up to the fuel pump. Well, it's a goofy fitting. It's a 3/8 inverted flare coming out. And I've been having trouble finding a fitting. Well, I found this piece of copper 3/8, and I found a 3/8 tube nut. I flared it, I heated it up so I could get a sharp bend because I can't find my bender anywhere. I think this will work. We'll just hook a hose to it and go straight to the fuel log, the little fuel log there. So let me continue on working on this stuff, and well, I got a wire, and I'll be back here in a little bit. And we'll see if this thing will fire up. Fuel system is done. It's ugly. Don't look at it. Like I said, I'll hardline all this eventually and get it all pretty. But we just want to hear it run. I want to hear what that exhaust sounds like. I want to see if them 3 Deuce manifolds is going to act right. I've already started running the oil pressure line. Let me tell you. See a little fitting right there? I ain't lying to you. It took me 30 minutes to get it in. It would not go in. It's a good thing I wouldn't video on that part. Yep, because this is a family channel. Let me get in here and mount my gauge pod and finish hooking up that line on the gauge. And then I guess I need to do a little bit of wiring for ignition and starter and put Earl and antifreeze in it. We'll be ready to start this thing up. Let's get that gauge stuff mounted first. La da 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 dee da dee da la da 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 da. Firstly, let's go ahead and get this little gauge pod thingamabob mounted. If I can get up under here where I can see, we're just gonna self-tapperize it. Approximately right there, I guess. All right, now put this Tipitar gauge back in here. Then I got to finish hooking up this oil pressure line. I'm not gonna cut it right now because I may end up rerouting it. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, y'all see what I did, don't you? Yep. One, I forgot to put this on. Which way does it go? That way. And then I forgot to do this right here. Yep. Gauges are mounted. That is awesome. Let me go do some wiring. I got my wiring done. I'm hooking up my ground wire to this intake bolt right here. I looked over here and saw that my coil is leaking oil. I don't like that, so I think I got another one over at Mama's on the old AA Ford. I'll run over and get that. Got to put antifreeze in it, got to put Earls in it, and we'll be ready to fire this thing up. Sure enough. Well, apparently I have lost all the coils that I ever owned except for that one right there. Yep. The AA Ford, it was gone. The old Willis motor that's hooked up to that generator, coil was gone off it. The one for the station wagon, the mices, they just destroyed it. So I stole this one off of Dumas. It'll do, hopefully. Let me put some Earls in it, fill it up with antifreeze. I got all my wiring done. We'll fill the carburetor up and give her the old try. Also, and oh, by the way, I got me a new phone today. I'm recording on it right now. I'm anxious to see how the video is, if it's any better. And I got my little shotgun mic hooked up to it too. So I'm anxious to see how it do. Let me get this here antifreeze in here. Hopefully we don't have no major water leaks. And then it'll be time to fire this old fella up. Oh yeah. Hiya! All right, let me go fill this here up with water because we're doing a 50-50 mix. Well, I think that's about all she's going to hold for now anyway, till we get it running. Let me hook a battery up. Guess what? It's time to give her the old try. As far as I can tell, we're ready. Other than put a little gasolines in this here carburetor device. So let me fill it up. Little bit growing. Fire in the hole. Nice. I didn't expect it to fire up that quick. I got a leak somewhere. It's a fuel leak. Let me fix that. I'll be right back. Well, the inlet on this little fuel log fuel block, whatever you want to call it, was leaking. Somebody had the wrong fitting in there. It looks like they had a inverted flare fitting. It's supposed to be 3/8 NPT. And I don't know how they got it in there, because the one's a 18, the one's a 24 thread pitch. Had to run a pipe tap in there and clean the threads out. She's ready to go now. Like, old girl, she fired right up. That was pretty good. And what little bit it ran, I believe she's gonna sound good. Yes, sir. I gotta go do something. I gotta take Mama to the doctor. She's pretty bad sick. Thinks she may have strep throat. She's bad diabetic. And when she gets sick, let me tell you, she's bad sick. Let me go run her to the doctor. And when I get back, we'll fire this thing up. Well, I'm back from the doctor. She didn't have strep throat. She had bronchitis. So they gave her some antibiotics, and hopefully it'll clear it up in a few days. Let's get back on the old Forte. I was looking things over. Well, we got water standing right there and right there. I'm pretty sure it's coming from the water neck and where we put the temperature gauge thingamabob. I'm pretty sure it's leaking too. I'm gonna ignore it for now, because I want to hear this thing run. Let me hook the battery back up, and we'll give her the old try again. Fire in the old hole. Well, it don't want to idle. It acts like it's got a dead miss too, sort of. Let's fire it up again. Well, I got gasolines. It's just pouring out of the boosters. That means the float is not holding. Let me take the top off this in here and have a look at it. I found a new needle and seat over there. I just got done putting it in. As soon as I get these screws tight, we'll give her the old try one more time. Well, I come over here to the battery to, hook up my ignition again, and it was already hooked up. It's been on the whole time. I ain't got it on the switch. The coal, well, it's just boiling. It's on fire. Let me let that cool down a little bit. I don't have a balanced resistor on that coal. That's why it got so hot. I'll have to get one. Anyway, fire the hole again. I was getting a good squirt out of this front one. Now I'm getting hardly nothing. That don't make any sense. The back two, or the back one and the front one's doing good, but that right there, it ain't doing nothing. Well, I tore the top back off the carburetor to look at the accelerator pump cup. I didn't see nothing wrong. Put a new one on it. It's still just barely squirting. You got a clue. I don't know if it's something wrong with this well over here, or maybe the check ball in there is acting up. We'll have to tear it back apart. I finally took, well, I had a sort of a long screwdriver and got to my idle mixture screws, got them turned. They were two, well, this one was 2 turns out, that was 1. I got them both set at 1.5. I doubt it's going to run any better, but let's just see what it does. It's flooded too, because I've been pumping that looking at the pump shop, so I got to hold it wide open, I imagine. We still got issues with this middle carb. See that fuel coming out of the vent hole? Watch it disappear. Yeah, that middle carb, it's got issues. We'll have to tear it apart, or I don't know, may have to get a different one. Let me set y'all up on the camera stand over here somewhere. Let's see what she sounds like revved up. Sounds pretty good. I can't tell where that's at, but I know it ain't running hot, so that's good. Oil pressure's pretty good. I'm happy with that, but I tell you what, it's very, very loud in here, and it rattles like a tin pan full of marbles. Goodness gracious alive. It might be a sign to rebuild your motor when you see old monitors going off. It was at 322 just a second ago. It's 296 now. Yep. That's pretty bad. It's gonna have to have a motor pretty soon too, because I'm telling you, it's really, really smoky in here. Apparently, if your grill ain't bolted in, it'll fall out when you're revving it up. I think it acts like a dead miss. It just sits there and shakes. Well, it'll shake the whole front end of the car. And when I shut it off, gasoline's just poured out of this middle carb. I don't know what's going on with it. We got a water leak we got to fix, but hey, at least it ran, and I'm going to say this is a success with the 3 Deuce Manifold setup. Yes, sir, I believe it's going to work just fine. My beepity beep over there, it finally shut up. Yep, that thing's really slow to react. It was really smoky in here before it ever started beeping. Don't rely on them fellers, no sir. Well, just don't put yourself in this kind of situation. You know, my warnings at the beginning of my video, they're there for a reason. Yep, don't do what I do. Anyway, I ain't listened to the audio yet, so I don't know what this sounds like recorded. In person though, she sounds pretty doggone good. Yes, sir. It's a little loud inside, but we'll run it out the back eventually. I am very pleased though with what we got accomplished this week. Getting those 3 carbs right there set up, and this thing's sitting here idling. You can rev it up and it does pretty good. Yep, I'm happy with that. Middle carb has got some issues. We got to pull it back apart and see what's going on with it. Might have to get a different carb, I don't know. Anyway, I've got a headache from breathing all these fumes. I got to go in the house, do some editing, got to upload it, get this ready for y'all tomorrow. Yep, gonna be another long night. Oh well. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you don't mind, hit that like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. And until next time, go do something. Blur, blur.